Today, I told you that we will start with SLFRS 15 today. After SLFRS 15, then we can go for the balance part of the investment appraisal. Okay. Shall we start the SLFRS 15? Right, you all ready? You all hear me properly, right? Good. Then SLFRS 15. Revenue from contracts with customers. Revenue from contract with customers. Right? Have you ever learned this standard earlier? This is the very first time I'm going to teach this standard. The schools we have discussed. I don't know. Right, anyway. No response. No. Right, that's fine. So, no. Good. Not yet. It means you are studying this from the schools, right? Good. Okay. Basically, if I ask you, what do you mean by revenue? What is a revenue? What's the revenue? What do you mean by revenue? Income. Yes. Revenue is nothing but income. Good. Actually, not only income. This includes even income and profit. Some profit, say, if you have earned any profit from sale of assets, if you have earned any income by disposing the machine or motor vehicle or whatever the asset, those profits are also taken on the revenue. It's a part of the revenue. See, if you have received any dividend by investing in shares, those also sort of income, the revenue. So when I say a word about this standard, SLFRS 15, earlier there was a different standard called LKS 18. The name was revenue. Revenue. The old standard. If you take your study pack, still you will find that one. In a study pack, it is there. Right? If anyone is studying the study pack, make sure that you are not studying that one. Huh? It's outdated now. There are some outdated things our study packs. The reason is your study pack was issued in 2017. I mean the grade 13 study pack A level was issued in 2017. But unfortunately, not the bad luck of us, bad luck of the people those who have published the teacher's guide. What happened? With effect from 1st January 2018, I remember, the revenue standard was changed. Something nice happened in that year. That is, not only the revenue standard, SLFRS 18 and SLFRS 11, then LKS 11, sorry, the earlier one was LKS 18. LKS 18, then LKS 11, that is construction contracts and insurance contracts, and there are some other standards also, all were cancelled. And for many standards, the insurance contracts, SLFRS, that is LKS 11, the constructions and insurance contracts, and LKS 18, two more things I remember. I don't remember actually. Then those are not in our syllabus. Right? To fulfill all the requirements, one standalone standard was given. That is SLFRS 15. Therefore, this SLFRS 15 is applied for so many areas. Even for the constructing companies, to recognize their revenue, SLFRS 15 is adopted. Even for the insurance contract, this is adopted. Therefore, this standard is very much important. Actually, this is not taken as a simple standard in the normal practice, but not for A level. For A level students, this is a very simple standard, right? This won't take that much time to discuss. Within, if I quickly discuss within half an hour, I can discuss. But this is a complicated standard for some areas, for some businesses, not for us. For A level, in the initial part, there are some little areas which may be tested from you, but in the normal practice, when you go to the normal practice, the level which we discuss, the level which we are expecting to discuss in the A level class may not be sufficient for you when you are coping with the commercial world, right? If you supposed to work as an accountant, sometimes by the time the standard may be rechanged, right? If in so, still you may have some things to learn in the standard, right? I am going to discuss only after the A level requirements. Okay, so the SLFRS 15. If I straight away focus to the purpose of the standard, why this standard is? The answer is, in the practical world, recognizing revenue is something very much complicated. Recognizing revenue, but with your knowledge, as far as you have learned, you might say recognizing revenue is very easy, sir. Why it's hard? When it's told as sales, we just record as sales. If it is a different sort of income, we recognize that income. Why it's hard? When it goes to the normal practice, the situation or the story is not simple as you learn. So, I can say there are a few drivers of income drivers, income sources. What are the sources of income? Just tell me, what are the sources of income? As far as the knowledge which you have gathered, tell me, what are the sources of income? What are the income sources? Basically, sales, good, sales of goods, and providing services, or rendering or the providing services. In addition to that, interest, dividend, sometimes royalty income. If you had a certain copyright or something, you can give that right as to get an income. Understand? So these are the main sources of income. So the problem associated with the standard, with the income, is at which point you should recognize the income. When? What is the date you can record the income in your books? That is the problem. If you remember, we discussed accounting concepts. There we discussed a concept called revenue recognition concept or the realization concept. There we told the revenue you need to recognize once it is realized. When the revenue is realized, you can recognize. If it is regarding a sale of goods transaction, when the goods are given to the customers, we can recognize the revenue. When the legal ownership of the goods are transferred from seller to buyer, then you can recognize the revenue. If it is a rendering services agreement, when the service is provided only, you have to recognize the revenue. The basic things we discussed in that way. But when it comes to the practical world, you just assume, right? Just think and tell. Say this is the main company. Assume this is a Coca-Cola company. They are producing Coca-Cola bottles. You can't purchase Coca-Cola. You are the customer. Can you directly go to Coca-Cola company and purchase Coca-Cola bottles? You can't do that. Initially, what happens? They sell Coca-Cola to the primary dealers. Primary dealers. Then from primary dealers, Coca-Cola agencies there. Agencies, the agencies. When sales agencies there, from primary dealers, the agencies go and purchase these bottles. What these agencies do is, they sell Coca-Cola to the retail shops, the boutiques, to cafe and canteen and so on places. From these places only you go and purchase Coca-Cola. Okay. We are talking about recognizing revenue in the company. Recognizing revenue in the company. Basically, we say when the bottle is sold to the customer, you can recognize the revenue. But you see here, to come this revenue to the company, this revenue should be passed from these boutiques to the primary dealers. From the primary dealers, then this income should be passed to the company. Is it clear? Honestly, think and tell me. Now, is it easy to determine the point at which we should recognize the revenue? Is it easy to recognize? It's not easy at all. Okay. To come into a conclusion, we must study so many things. What is the agreement between the company and the primary dealers? What are the agreements between the primary dealers and the shops? Are there any agreements between the shop and the customer? See, the customer go and maybe purchase these on credit basis, right? Customer may not pay money at the time they purchase. Just assume you are not a single customer, you are an industrial customer. Say it's an office. For the office, regularly you purchase Coca-Cola. You settle the bill at the end of the month. That may be happen. So, in this manner, it's complicated. Recognizing revenue is very much complicated even in accounting and auditing also. As auditors, normally in our auditing, we focus much on revenue recognition. In auditing also, there's a revenue recognition standard. There are so many irregularities and frauds with respect to revenue recognition. Some people might argue, when the items are given to the primary dealers, we can record this as an income. They might say no. When the items are given to the primary dealers, we don't take this as an income. But to recognize the income, primary dealers should give those goods to the boutiques, shops. Sometimes they might say no. In the shops also, as we obtain return items, as we are getting the return goods back, until these shops sell the goods to the end customer, we can't recognize the revenue. Anyway, I am not going to complicate you much more. I wanted to say the complexity of recognition the revenue. You got the idea? The revenue recognition is anyway much complex process. So you have to analyze much the company before you recognize the revenue. But this type of lengthy things we are not going to discuss now. Just assume in all the examples which we discussed, the company directly sells goods to the customers. Okay? Then, now, in accounting, according to new SLFRS 15, here the effective date is 1st January 2018. This standard is there in Sri Lanka, not only in Sri Lanka, in the world. As this was born on 1st, this was born earlier, but the effective date is on 1st January 2018. For the accounting year started after 1st January 2018 only, this standard is applied. So, this is the background. Because of the complexity of recognizing the revenue, International Accounting Standards Board, IAS, they have introduced this IFRS 15, International Financial Reporting Standards number 15. From ISFR 15, we have adopted this SLFRS 15 for Sri Lanka. Okay. They have given a model called 5-step model to recognize the revenue. There is a model called 5-step model. This may be definitely tested in the exam, right? There's a high risk to ask the 5 steps, as this was not tested to that level earlier. In 2 early papers, they have tested. In 2019 paper, they just asked the meaning of the transaction price. In last year, they also asked the point to recognize the revenue or something. This year, there's a possibility to ask this entirely. So, when recognizing the revenue, you have 5 steps model. There are 5 steps. Number 1, identify the contracts with customers. Identify the contract with customers. Number 2, identify the performance obligations of the contract. Identify the performance obligation of the contract. Third one, determine the transactions price. Determine the transaction price. The fourth, allocate the transaction price among the performance obligations. Number 5, recognize the revenue when each performance obligation is satisfied. These are the 5 steps. The 5-step model. Recognize the revenue according to 5 steps model. I'll repeat those. See whether you understand. Number 1, try to remember, try to study, try to memorize this with me. Identify the contract with customers. But I want to come and please say it for you. What is the first one? Identify the contract with customers. Number 2, identify the performance obligation of the contract. Identifying the performance obligations. Third, determine the transaction price. Determine the transaction price. 4, allocate the transaction price among the performance obligations. 5, recognizing revenue when the performance obligation is satisfied. Honestly, tell me, you understood or not? I think I know your answer. Honestly, tell me, you understood or not? Very good. I thought that I have told in a manner which is not understood, but some students say they understood. I'm very happy. But many students say no, we didn't get it. Very good. I thought that you all would have told that no, we didn't get any idea. Right. I told it in a manner which is not understandable. Right. We discuss in schools. That can be. I didn't understand at all. Very good. Right. So now come back. Okay. First, just skip this one. We'll discuss this later on. Tell me one more thing. Tell me one more thing. You remember how a contract is occurred? In partnerships, we discussed how can a contract be occurred. Yes, a contract is an agreement. I'm asking. Yes, Mashriya, that is the answer I wanted. Demi, yes, good. Is a written contract, oral contract, or implied contract. According to law of contract, there are three modes how a contract may be occurred. Understand? So we are talking about contracts. Okay, write down something, please. Revenue includes, it's a note, huh? Revenue includes income and profits. Revenue includes income and profit earned by a business. Earned by a business. Main sources of revenue. Main sources of revenue are main sources of revenue are sales of goods, sales of goods, comma, providing services, providing services, and income from interest, dividend, and royalty. Interest, dividend, and royalty. Interest, dividend, and royalty. Full stop. Income is recognized. Income is recognized when it is realized. When it is realized. When sales of goods. When sales of goods. When sales of goods. At the time the goods are transferred to the customer. At the time the goods are transferred to the customer. At the time the goods are transferred to customer, comma, oh, not comma. At the time the goods are transferred to the customer and in providing services, in providing services, in providing services, when supply of service, when supply of service, in providing services, when supply of service, the revenue is recognized. The revenue is recognized. The revenue is recognized. Fresh para. A contract may be a contract may be occurred. A contract may be occurred under following three circumstances. Under following three circumstances. Under following three circumstances. Number one, written agreement, written agreement, oral or verbal, written agreement or oral or verbal, written agreement, verbal agreement, or implied agreement, implied agreement. Then take a topic, take a topic. 5-step model to recognize the revenue. 5 steps model to recognize the revenue. Can you give me 1 minute to plug this to the charger? Right? Charger is not here. That's downstairs. Okay. වතුර බොන්න ඕන ළමයි නේද? ඒතකොට තමයි සෞඛ්‍යයට හොඳ හරිද? හරි. Now right. Finally I ask you to write the topic, right? 5 steps model. Is it? Yes. Now only I am going to explain what is 5-step model. අහින්න අහගෙන දෙන්නේ. You all are listening? Yes. Right. Good. හොඳයි. Number 1. අපි එහෙම කරමු. Assume yes. I'll take an example, right? See, we are a company which sells air conditioners, air conditioning company. We are selling air conditioners. At the time we sell the air conditioner, we enter into an agreement with the customer. In the agreement, according to the agreement, the contract is we have promised the customers to sell the air conditioner, sell the machine, and providing services for 3 years. Providing services for 3 years. Okay. In each year, we are going to service the machine. Assume it's an annual service. Annually, you have to go and service the machine. Now, I am going to explain the standard with respect to this case, this story. Number 1. According to the 5 steps model, identify the contract with customers. Please, can you tell me, according to my example, what is the contract with customer here? What is the contract with customers here? According to this example, what is the contract? It is what? No, contract is not only servicing. My contract is what? That is the transaction itself. Sale of computers and not the computers. Sale of air conditioners and service the air conditioner for 3 years. Is it clear? The contract with customer is what? Sales of the air conditioning machines and conducting services for 3 years. That is the contract which we have entered into the customer. Very easy. You know, the contract, the name contract is defined in the standard. Contract means contract is the agreement. Contract is an agreement between 2 or more parties which creates enforceable rights and obligations. You have to have that in your mind, the definition also. A contract is an agreement between 2 or more parties which creates enforceable rights and obligations. If you remember that part, it's perfect. A contract is an agreement between 2 or more parties which creates enforceable rights and obligations. That is a contract. Then, here in the definition, there are 2 nice terms. A contract is an agreement between 2 or more parties. For a contract, there should be 2 or more parties, and which creates enforceable. You should be able to enforce that. Enforceable. You can enforce rights or obligations. At the seller's point of view, it's an obligation for you. At the customer's point of view, he has an enforceable right. In case the seller defaults to do something, at the customer side, he has a right. Basically, he can sue against the seller. Understand? That's the meaning of the enforceable rights and obligations. Then, when it goes to the performance obligations, identify the performance obligations with respect to the contract. The definition, the performance obligation means it's nothing but promises of the contract. Performance obligations are the promises included in the contract. Promises in the contract with respect to sale of goods or providing services. In this case, identify what are the performance obligations. How many performance obligations are there in this contract? How many performance obligations are there in this contract? Here there are two performance obligations. What are those? One is selling the machine. Number two, providing services. So in this case, you can recognize two performance obligations. Number one, sales of the machine. Number two, services, 3-year services. These are the performance obligations. It's very easy. Number one, identify the contract with the customer. Number two, identify the performance obligations. Third one, determine the transaction price. Determine the transaction price. The transaction price is the amount of consideration at which the seller is entitled to provide goods or services. That's how it's defined in the standard, right? Transaction price is the amount of consideration at which the seller is entitled to provide, to sell the goods or provide the services. The amount which they have agreed. Assume in this case, for all the things, they have agreed an amount of 130,000. 130,000. They have agreed upon 130,000. This company says, for these activities we require 130,000. Then, this is the meaning of the determining the transaction price. Fourth one, allocation of the transaction price among the performance obligations. Allocation of the transaction price among the performance obligations. That is, here you recognize two performance obligations. Number one, selling the machine, sales of the machine. Second performance obligation is providing service. Providing service. Now think, when providing services or service providing income, for one service, assume it's 10,000. For one service, we charge 10,000. And the price of the machine is 100,000. Then how can you allocate the transaction price? For sales of machine, you can allocate 100,000. For the second obligation, the providing services, in the first year you can allocate 10,000. Second year you can allocate another 10,000. For the third year again 10,000. But remember, these are not pre-performance obligations. The same performance obligation, but which is going to be fulfilled within 3 years. Not 3 obligations. Our obligation is servicing. Servicing as a whole, it's the obligation. Yeah. Supposed to provide the service within 3 years. Okay. So, when you allocate the transaction price among the performance obligations, right? I remember this was tested from chartered students in the last year. Some students wrote in the marking scheme also, it was mentioned that some students, they have recognized this as separate performance obligations. Answer is no. The same performance obligation. We are obliged to perform that service. That's a servicing the machine. Fifth one, recognize the revenue when the performance obligation is satisfied. Now tell me, in year 1, what is the revenue you can recognize? In year 1, what is the revenue you can recognize? In year 1, how much you should recognize as the revenue? In year 1, what are the performance obligations you have satisfied? Initially, you should have sold the machine. Therefore, you can recognize this 100,000 as the income without any doubt. But not only that, according to the agreement, according to the contract, the performance obligation too also fulfilled for some extent, that is 10,000. In the first year, your income is 100,000 plus 10,000, that is 110,000. What is the income you can recognize for the second year? What is the income you can recognize for the second year? That is 10,000. Still, you are fulfilling the second performance obligation. In the third year, you can recognize the balance 10,000. Clear? Now, tell me, if you suppose, say, this company, what they do is, right, at the time the items are sold to the customer, the total amount is charged from the customer. What the company does is, when they sells this air conditioner to customer, they have used to take the full amount from the customer. If it's so, quickly type and tell me what should be the journal entry the company should post in their books for the first year. If they have obtained the full amount at the time they sell the machine, what is the journal entry they should record in the first year? Cash account debit 110,000. Sales income account credit Domi, it's wrong. Dinuli's answer is correct for some for a great extent. Yes, good. Faliha. No, your journal entry should be what? Cash account debit 130,000. Right? Cash account debit 130,000. Sales account credit 100,000. Service income account credit 10,000. Income received in advance account credit 20,000. Yes, Sumaya's answer is cash account debit 110,000, sales credit 100,000. Yes, very good. Service, yeah, the same answer. Service income credit 10,000, service received in advance account credit 20,000. Now tell me, is it clear? It should be in that way, right? I think you all are clever students, you understand what I am saying here. Cash account debit, sale account credit, service income account credit only 10. Dimuli, what you have done, the fault is what? You have credited entire 110,000 to sales. But you know, this is sales of goods, this is providing services. Providing services income you can't take as a part of the sales of goods. Then, cash account debit, sales account credit, service income credit, and this 20,000 is what? Service income received in advance. For the same business, now tell me what should be the journal entry for the second year? What should be the journal entry for the second year? What should be the journal entry for the second year? For the same company, I'm asking, what is the journal entry they put there in books? What is the answer? That should be income received in advance account debit 10,000. Correct. Income received in advance account debit 10,000. Where to credit? Service income credit. From this income received in advance liability, this is a liability, right? From this liability, 10,000 is now realized. To the extent the amount which you have earned, which you have realized, you have to recognize as an income. When the performance obligation is completed. Actually, what happened here in the first year, only one third or 33%, 33.3% of the performance obligation was satisfied in the first year. When it goes to the second year, the performance obligation is again satisfied for another one third. When the performance obligation is satisfied, the relevant percentage you have to recognize as the income. As this business obtained the full amount from the customer at the time they uh, engage into the contract, the amount which is not realized, which is not recognized as an income, you have to recognize as a liability. So in the third year, again, the remaining 10,000 is debited to income received in advance and which is credited to service income. Very simple thing for A level. Understand? In A level, we are not going to discuss the joint contracts and so many things there, right? We are not going to discuss those. Right. So the full standard, I think I have explained. Now tell me, did you understand these 5 steps? Did you understand the 5 steps with my example? Right, good, great. For the students also, I told that you got nothing. Has it become everything now? You told I got nothing. Is it you got everything now? Right. Then we quickly summarize. Hmm, hmm. We wrote as the 5 steps model to recognize revenue. Number one, identify the contract with customers. Number one, identify the contract with customers. Identify the contract with customers. මම මෙතන definitions වෙනම ලියන්නේ නැතුව ඕක යටිම ලියන්නම් ඈ. ඔයාලා එමු පාඩම් කරගන්න. නැත්නම් සාමාන්‍යයෙන් අපි ස්ටෑන්ඩඩ් වල කරන්නේ definitions වෙනම දෙනවනේ. Without doing so, I'll give you the required part of the definition under this one. දැන් ලියන්න උතෙන්ට. Identify the contract with customers කියලා ලියුවනේ නේ. Right under that. A contract is an agreement. A contract. A contract is an agreement contract is an agreement which creates which creates which creates enforceable which creates enforceable which creates enforceable rights and obligations Contract is an agreement which creates enforceable rights and obligations for the parties. For the parties. For the parties. Number two, identify the performance obligations. Identify the performance obligations of the contract. Identify the performance obligations of contract. Identify the performance obligation of contract. Right under that, performance obligations are the promises. Performance obligations are the promises. Performance obligations are the promises stated in the contract. Performance obligations are the promises. Here the key term is promises. Performance obligations are the promises stated in the contract. Right. 3. Determine the transaction price. Determine the transaction price. Transaction price is the amount of consideration. Transaction price is the amount of consideration transaction price is the amount of consideration the company is entitled. The company is entitled to transfer. The company is entitled to transfer promised goods and services. Promised goods and services. Promised goods and services. Number one, number four, sorry, four, allocation of the transaction price among performance obligations. Allocating transaction price. Allocation of transaction price. Allocation of transaction price. Allocation of transaction price among performance obligations. Among performance obligations. Allocation of transaction price among performance obligations. I'm not going to give any note on that. You understand, right? Allocation is allocation. If I supposed to give you a note, the same thing I would repeat. Number 5, recognize the revenue. Recognize the revenue when performance obligation is satisfied. Recognize the revenue when performance obligation is satisfied. Example. Example. computer company, I'll give it different one, right? A computer company has entered into an agreement, has entered into an agreement. A computer company has entered into an agreement with a customer to sell computers and provide services. To sell computers and provide services. Fresh para. According to the contract, the customer should pay customer should pay following payments. Customer should make customer should make following payments at the commencement of the contract. At the commencement of the contract. Yeah. Amount charged for hardware components. Amount charged for hardware components. Rupees 500,000 amount charged for softwares for 2 years. Amount charged for softwares for 2 years at rupees 100,000 for 1 year. At rupees 100,000 for 1 year. Amount charged for software for 2 years at rupees 100,000 for 1 year. For 1 year, right? 1 year or each year, understand? Then services are provided right once every 6 months. Services are provided once every 6 months at rupees 20,000 per service. At rupees 20,000 per service. Then the contract date. Assume the contract date is The year beginning date. Assume that the contract date is the year beginning date and the full amount was received on that date. Assume the contract date is the year beginning date and the full amount was received on that date. Required. Question number 1. Analyze analyze the above analyze the above contract with customers. Analyze the above contract with customers according to 5 steps model. चलो ලොකු ගානක් කෙන එකක් නැහැ. හරිද? ඔයාලට කවදාවත් මම නිකන් දෙන්නේ. කරලා දෙන්නේ කොහොමද ඉන්නේ වර්ස්ට් එකට ගෙලිමු. මොනක් කරගන්න පුළුවන්. Analyze the above contract with customers according to 5 steps model. Number 2. State journal entries. State relevant journal entries for year 1 and year 2. Right? State journal entries for year 1 and year 2. Rinsa is asking, sir, what if the warranty claimable on the product, then you have to make a provision for warranties. In that case, provision for warranty is not an income. So the provision for warranty that does not come under this standard. That is SLFRS 37. So LKS 37. Provision contingent liabilities and contingent asset. That doesn't come here, right? This is regarding revenue. How to recognize the revenue? The warranty is something else. It's a different standard. So can you read out the payments again? Okay, I can. Amount charged for hardware components rupees 500,000. Amount charged for software for 2 years at rupees 100,000 for 1 year. That amount charged for softwares for 2 years at rupees 100,000 for 1 year. Then services are provided once every 6 months. Services are provided once every 6 months at rupees 20,000 per service. Okay. Okay. Havan Right? Finish. Is it okay? Right. Number one, identify the contract with customer, right? So what's that? How to identify the contract? It is, the contract is sales of computers, softwares, and providing services. The contract is a contract with customer to sell a computer with softwares and to provide 2 years services. Right, in that way. Sale of computers and softwares, sale of computers, softwares, and providing services for 2 years. Identify performance obligations. Tell me how many performance obligations are there here? How many performance obligations are here? Yes, there are 3 performance obligations, correct. What is number 1? Number 1 is sale of computer. Number 2, sale of softwares. Number 3, services. Sale of computers, sale of softwares and services. Then, what is the transaction price? Suma, you are saying 780,000, is it? The computer it's 500,000. Service, here the software 100,000 each, it's 200,000. And services you have to provide the services once every 6 months. That means within the year you have to provide 2 services. Entirely you need to provide 4 services. 4 services at 20,000 each, that is 80,000. 708,000. It's 780,000, right? Then, how to allocate the transaction price among the performance obligation? How to do the allocation? Allocation of transaction price among performance obligation. Tell me, for the first performance obligation, the answer is there. Sale of computer, you can allocate 500,000. Then, sale of software, you can allocate 200,000. Services, there you can allocate 80,000. This is the allocation. 5. Recognize the revenue when the performance obligation is satisfied. For the 5th one, I will show you the journal entries. Recognize the revenue recognition when you go to the first year, year 1, I told the full amount is received at the commencement of the transaction. no need to allocate separately according to years. Yes, you have to allocate according to years. But normally this allocation is not required according to the year. But when you recognize, you have to recognize according to the year. The allocation is this one. Allocation, because the allocation is not yearly. Allocation is towards the performance obligations. You allocate the income to performance obligation. In the performance obligation, you have to compute percentage wise. How far, how extent it is fulfilled. You have to take the percentage of completion. It's for the performance obligation, not for the year. You have to take the performance obligation and see the percentage. Okay. Now, in year one, cash account debit 780,000. Sales two types. Sale of computer, it's 500,000. Software income. Software sales income is 100,000. Prepaid in received in advance. Software income in advance 100,000. Okay, the service income. Service income, two services for this year. It is 40,000. Service income in advance, balance 40,000. Is it understood? Altogether, you have received this much. From that, the sales of computer, you can 100% take the income. Software sales income, you can take only the income relevant for this year, only for 1 year. Year one. But the software income for the second year is a liability. Service income for this year, it's an income. For year one, it's an income. For the second year, it's a liability. When it goes to year two, this 100,000 software income in advanced account debit 100,000, software income account credit 100,000, and service income received in advance debit 40,000, service income account credit 40,000. Tell, is it clear? That's all the standard. I think it's not a hard standard.